Well, it's here, the first live-action debut of Superman to kick off the new DC universe from James Gunn, and boy is this a divisive movie among the internets. Let's review.
Just movie reviews, personal opinions. Like, comment, subscribe for personal opinions.
Straight away, this definitely feels like an overcorrection for the Snyderverse films. So if you weren't a fan of Zack Snyder's take on the character, Gunn has truly taken it in the opposite direction, almost to the point that it's parody. And as Gunn has made very clear, he is not a fan of origin stories, and this is no exception. We are thrown straight into the middle of an already established universe, which is a shame because I might be a minority here, but I like origin stories. They are fun, and it's cool to see different takes from different filmmakers on how they would go about introducing a character. Oh well. We're given some written exposition at the start of the movie explaining metahumans have been around for 300 years, Clark has been Supes for 3 years already, and then the movie starts with Superman suffering his first ever defeat, which we don't see. We just see the aftermath of him like all bloodied up and struggling to move. To be fair, I was kind of hyped. It was a good way to start the movie. Superman's first defeat. He is now the underdog, and we will see him fight his way back to the top again. Then immediately came the humor, the James Gunn humor, and it did not stop for the whole movie. There is barely a serious beat of the movie that isn't immediately followed up by a ham-fisted joke that just feels out of place, and at best, like mildly funny, and at worst, just straight up cringy. I found myself just like rolling my eyes at some points. Every single person in this movie is a joke, with maybe the exception of Lois, who seems to be the only normal, rational person in the movie. Jimmy Olsen is a fuckboy who weighs up the option of gaining incredible life-changing information that could potentially save the world, but he hesitates because he might have to commit to weekend plans with one of his exes. Actually, yeah, that checks out. Nah, Jimmy's a real one. It just feels so silly, and it gets rid of any potential tension whatsoever. So let's talk about Man of Steel himself, and you can't really call him that because in this movie he gets his ass beat. David Corenswet has the features of Superman. He's a big guy, black hair, classic curl. He has a friendly face, which helps with the marketing of this movie as like an upbeat, hopeful Superman. But in all honesty, he's kind of like a child, and there's no discernible difference between his character as Clark and his character as Superman, which no one would be able to master as good as the great Christopher Reeve anyway. As you would have seen in the trailers during the interview with Lois, she raises some pretty understandable points, like the fact that he basically tortured a world leader and was laughing it off until he took the rage bait and started getting frustrated and acting like a man-child, standing and yelling when told his actions might have consequences. I mean, this is the most powerful being in the world. As a citizen or politician, I absolutely would question his motives and not approve of him just going around doing what he wants, especially when he can throw a little tantrum at any time. Which makes me assume this is the motivation for Lex not liking him, but we don't really know for sure because Lex is just in the movie being an evil baddie, which is a shame because Holt's portrayal of Lex was really good until he too became the butt of like a Marvel quality joke and just started randomly acting like a man-child, crying and pushing pencils off a desk, forcing his staff to pick it up multiple times when something didn't go his way. It's just petty and dumb. We're introduced to the Justice Gang, who get about 5 minutes of screen time to crack some jokes and punch some things, with the exception of Mr. Terrific, who was a surprising standout character for me. I was only aware of his character from the Arrow TV show and found him to be like really annoying, so it was refreshing to have this iteration as a competent and smart guy, even if his MacGuffin balls were just there to drive the plot along. Nathan Fillion, as the Green Lantern Guy Gardner, was entertaining. His comedy suits Gunn's style, but unfortunately it just gets drowned out from all the underwhelming comedy from everyone else around him. I feel like the movie would have greatly benefited if they limited a lot of the comedy just to Guy Gardner. Hawkgirl's there and screams sometimes and doesn't have much else to do except take away much needed screen time from Superman, Lex, and Lois, who were still noticeably underdeveloped by the end of the movie. Clark's parents, both from Earth and Krypton, make an appearance with a noticeable change in law for Jor-El, which might piss off some people. Pa Kent gives the old classic speech of your choices and your actions make you who you are. I did find it strange they had pretty strong accents and Clark didn't. Like, I'ma go get your boots. But I don't know, whatever. It just feels like we were dropped into the second or third movie in this universe. Things are just happening all the time and with no explanation because there just isn't time. A kaiju is let loose, but no idea where it came from or how it got big so quickly, and everyone is just acting like it's another Tuesday. It's jarring to watch. The original Superman theme song plays here and there, but never truly captures the epic feeling of the original John Williams score. And it doesn't really surpass the Hans Zimmer's Man of Steel take on the theme. Everything just looks so cheap as well. The VFX looks like a B-grade Marvel film. The costumes look like a bad cosplay for all the characters, and the camera choices are baffling, like the weird wide-angle lenses that distort the characters' features. It's a bold choice. And don't get me wrong, I'm okay with underwear on the outside. I think Brandon Ruth's suit was a perfect upgrade from the Christopher Reeve suit. But Corrin's sweatsuit looks like an ill-fitting jumpsuit with a diaper on the outside, and for me personally, it's distracting. There's nanotech, pocket universes, cloning, flying, future vehicle tech that doesn't make sense, robots. All of it is just there and no baseline to ground any of it and just feels cheap and undeserved. This is basically just a fantasy reality without any real rules. Things can just happen because fuck it, why not? Like, Lex has the power to create a pocket universe to use as a prison for his ex-girlfriends and anyone else that irks him, which, side note, is a bunch of glass boxes. Do they just like piss and crap next to each other with everyone being able to see? Now that's diabolical. Anyway, he's also got like a bunch of monkeys that are used to troll Superman on the internet, and he spits out orders like they're bra sizes to a robot, defeating Superman in real time. Krypto comes and goes throughout the movie whenever he is needed, or Gunn wants more of a comic relief moment. We haven't seen Krypto before. Well, I haven't seen Krypto before in a live action film, but I gotta say, he didn't need to be in this film. But there he is, as a CGI dog, doing naughty dog things that people can relate to. It just didn't sell to me. It's like watching an AI video. It's visually flawless, but it just looks dead in the eyes. It's soulless. I know it's not a real dog. This Superman movie, to me, is what Peter Sellers' Casino Royale is to James Bond. Yeah, it's a Superman movie, but it's just a massive joke. I like Gunn as a director, but as soon as he was announced to not only direct a Superman reboot, but to be the showrunner of the entire new DC universe, I couldn't help but think he was like an odd choice. His style just doesn't suit that character. He would be better off just directing a Justice Gang movie. And man, does he go full gun in this movie with the out of place humor that it just feels like he's a parody of his own style. Similar to Taika's Thor, Love and Thunder, and Wes Anderson's Asteroid City, these directors have taken their own style and dialed it up to 11. You either die a good director or you live long enough to parody your own style. And I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of kickback for these opinions because the overall response to this movie is overwhelmingly positive, and it will probably make over $1 billion at the box office, so what do I know? I think people were really craving a more Boy Scout style Superman, that they're overlooking some pretty major flaws in filmmaking. One positive I've seen is a new trend where people are doing small acts of random kindness. The theme of the movie being you don't have to be Superman to be a good person, like taking your trolley to a trolley bay after shopping. Like, this is cute, but it shows how fucked the world is that we need a Superman movie to inspire such basic human decency. A lot of people are saying how like comic accurate it is. I don't really read comics, but every single property has had numerous interpretations and ridiculous storylines and costumes. It's like saying it's imagination accurate. In my opinion, it's just another mindless CGI slop filled with recycled humor from a director who hasn't learned that it's okay to let a serious scene play out for more than 30 seconds. Gunn's Superman is something I would expect from like a Marvel Phase 5 filler movie. But hey, at least punk rock is making a comeback now. This is like a 5 out of 10. I feel generous giving it a 5. Maybe a 6 if you go in after a few brewskis and want to switch off and watch the pretty colors. In any case, it hasn't really instilled in me any confidence in a quality new universe for DC moving forward. Anyway, that's just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments, but be nice. It's what Superman would do.
Just movie reviews.